Hey, Kliq This fans, want to get closer to the show than ever? Join Kliq This TV. Kliq This TV offers early commercial-free access to wrestling's hottest podcast, plus live audience tapings of their show every friggin' week. Head to KliqThisTV.com now and get inside the show that's just too sweet.
The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
Right back with another action-packed 90 minutes of Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. He's Kevin, I'm Sean. If you were looking for us, you're in the right place. Kev, I gotta love having listened to, like, you know, the days where we would just roll, we would just fucking ramble, and if it was 3 hours, it was 3 hours or whatever. But we had so many ads that people always complained.
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, oh, 2 hours, 20 minutes of it is ads and stuff. So we scaled down, we tighten things up, we give you a tight 90 minutes, a little more content. And I'm seeing people fucking complain.
But, dude, I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. The thing is, it's how many times in your life do you get a message from somebody that is positive, it's a praise, just calling to check on you to make sure you're having a great day? How many of those do you get in your life?
I don't.
But how many, but as soon as somebody does something that's, man, did you see so-and-so fucking got arrested? It's, the world is just, it's a negative. It's like trying to talk about what's going on in the Middle East. I mean, I had 3 really good bowel movements today, and every time
eh?
and every time I go, I always I take this stuff called Power Sludge. It's this organic superfood oatmeal. Oh.
Power Sludge.
Power Sludge. Yes.
That's what it is going in, and that's what comes out.
And it's 36 packages. It's like $214. And I'm doing 2 packages a day. So it's like a $12 breakfast with a scoop of protein. But, no.
So you did your 2 bowel movements.
3.
And
sorry. Every time I looked into it, I kind of made the correlation between that and what's going on in the Middle East. I flushed it like I kind of do when I watch the news. I'm at the point right now where I watch the news. I watch the NBC nightly news for 30 minutes, and that's the only news I watch.
You're better off, Kevin.
This thing is going to go. I mean, why would it? Doesn't matter nothing really matters because it's all lies and bullshit. I gotta read this one. No, I'm not even gonna go into it. I actually saved something. It was like a timeline of Trump's text messages. Like
I'm pissed off that
45 minutes.
Too much of it comes up on my feed now. Do you even if I avoid the news, I'm getting it on my feeds, and I want it to leave, but obviously I'm stopping, so that algorithm is picking up, and it's adding more.
But the thing on top of all that is, in the last, I'm going to say even as short as 4 months, in the last 4 months, 90% of the things that you look at or read say this is AI bullshit. like at the end of it, they it's almost like a disclaimer, like, by the way, this is AI bullshit.
Because you have to put
You know.
the notification now, or they
So
do.
yeah,
if you don't.
so it's like that's not. I was on. Let me think what it was. I was on Instagram for the week. I was on it for 6 hours and 12 minutes in 7 days.
Is that good for your average? I don't know what you're usually on.
Oh shit! There's sometimes I'm on 2 hours a day. When you're on the road sitting at the airport, like, what else is there to do?
I don't know, but it begs the question: what did we do 30 years ago? Read the paper.
But I always traveled with somebody, so we'd always play the upgrade game. You have to pick a lady to go home with, and you get 2 upgrades. So you gotta,
So let's play. How does this work? So this is like
so we're
a
sitting-
fictional person or someone
No, like
in the
me
airport?
and Scott. So me and Scott are sitting at the gate,
Okay.
and it's like, you want to play the upgrade game. How many upgrades? 2. All right. So then you have to, like, say, okay, the lady in the pink blouse, that's my first choice. And then, Scott will pick a lady. And then later on, like, oh, wait, upgrade. And then the last, so usually you get 2 upgrades. But then when you get, because we always sat side by side in first, and usually aisle to aisle. And all bets were off if anything came on the plane that was like smoking hot. Like, you could always upgrade no matter what to that.
So even if you used 2 in the airport, when someone came on,
somebody come
Scott
on-
could turn to you and say, upgrade.
Upgrade, like mine. So that would
Right.
be a double knockout for that. So you would sit there and just glare at the people coming on the plane. Because
And nobody had any fucking idea that the world champion and his opponent, or his partner, depending on when, was we're upgrading them.
And then
Ladies, you could have been upgraded.
I was,
at airports.
because somebody said to me, they put something, and they put Scott's birthday, and I said, no, that's the day he passed. I said his birthday, and I gave the wrong month. I think I said it was in October or November. And they made like a big deal out of it. I'm thinking to myself, like, do people not know that the average man knows as many birthdays as he does phone numbers?
Today,
how many
do you even know
how
a
many
phone number?
birthdays do you know?
Ugh, this is rough. Okay, not counting my own, I assume.
Not counting your own.
Wife, 2 daughters,
Okay.
my brother, and my mom, 5.
Okay. Wife,
Yeah.
brother and sister.
All right.
That's it. I know, like, Hulk, I know Hulk's birthday was
August, right?
Yeah, it was. I know it was a month after mine. I know it was in August, and I know that it's close. We're like close to a month apart, but he's the 7th or he's like the 10th, 11th, something like that.
Okay.
But I know for a fact that he passed on July 24th.
Why is there significance to the day? Why do you remember that day?
I remember, because my father passed on April 4th, 1968. I have no idea what day in June my dad was born.
Right.
I looked at his headstone a billion times, but I know the day he passed. It's just like March 14th. I know that's when Scott passed. I don't know his birthday. But that's the beauty of Instagram. Because
Who was
there's,
yelling at you for this? You said people were
some
giving you a hard
person
time.
said, they said, well, I just said no. Like, that's the day he passed. It wasn't his birthday, because I know it. You know, I mean, I wasn't there for his birthday. I was there for when he passed.
Right.
You know, so which one's going to make more sense to to remember? Which one affected my life more? You know.
Well, it depends how you look at that, Kevin.
Well,
if he wasn't here.
Yeah, but it doesn't. That date doesn't matter.
Correct.
The date he passed does.
Mm-hmm.
So,
listen, I'm a little excited about a film. We often talk about film here, Kev. If you haven't seen Gold, Gold is Gold.
You're talking about the Australian version.
Oh, fuck yeah. Don't confuse this with the 2016 version.
No, this is psychological thriller.
It was a psychological thriller.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever, been more glued to something for 90 minutes than I was that film.
Well, you have to get to that ending.
Oh. Yeah, you really just have to let it it's like the perfect meal. You can't divulge any of it. You just have to let it just happen. Because you don't
let it wash over you.
Yeah, it's just you gotta but if you have 90 minutes of your life that you want to spend, I highly recommend Gold.
I like I think it was a 2022 film, if I'm not mistaken, and I think this was the first one in the Australian genre. You know, we had the French New Wave in the 40s, and you had the German expressionists and the Italian neorealism of the 20s, of the 30s, and then here we have the Australian Confusion era of film. I think it was called.
I think you've got to go back to the early Mad Max as kind of the kickoff for that.
Also, a kind of a dystopian theme, right?
Yeah, you can't forget Bad Boy Bubby.
Yeah,
that alone is a very
I like a film too.
I brought up. Have anybody that's out there seen Bad Boy Bubby? It's such a disturbing film, and I remember the first time I met Soderbergh, and we were talking about films. I said, "Have you ever seen Bad Boy Bubby?" He goes, "Of course." I said, "Of course you have."
What year are we talking for Bad Boy Bubby?
Oh God, I don't know. It's just my.
I mean, is it a contemporary film or something?
I mean, it's. God, when did Vince give me that? My buddy Vince Niasa gave it to me.
Okay, 93.
Yeah.
A crime drama, written and directed by Rolf de Heer, starring Nicholas Hope. Nope. Claire Benito. Nope. Ralph Cottrell. Nope.
No, it's an
Anna Camel. I'll have to look for it. But Gold is Gold, Kev. Everyone out there, make sure you grab it. And I mean, if you like films,
it's on Prime, I think, right now.
If you like films with like a twist ending you'll don't get to see because the credits roll, you'll enjoy it.
You get to see the ending. I mean, it's the bow is tied. It's just,
you just don't know what it's made of.
It's just I think it's a lot like I envision death. It's just all of a sudden it's just credits.
Right. You never get the answers. It's just blackness.
Not on film, not in this dimension. I'm sure in another dimension people are like, oh yeah, Gold.
All right.
So
it's got a 65 on Rotten Tomatoes, which I don't know how I feel about that.
I think a lot of people just it's one of those things where I don't get it, therefore I'll dislike it.
Haters.
Yeah.
Um,
The amount of just lack of dialogue, but it's going to go down as Zac Efron's probably his finest performance.
Oh, I forgot to mention that. It does have a star in it.
Yeah, Zac Efron.
Maybe that's what the $6.5 million budget went to. Because it had to go somewhere.
Yeah, because it's not. Like I was saying, I could shoot that for $100,000 with a red. So.
Locations were pretty minimal.
Yeah. Once you picked a 4-mile slot of the Outback, you were pretty much locked in.
I also love when the writers directors also star in it.
Yeah, I like when the directors also is a co-star.
Yeah, because they're given enough time to the production aspect if they also have to consider their performance. Sometimes it doesn't turn out well when that happens,
but he doesn't. He's in it and then like out and then back. So I mean, there's for the meat of the cinematography and for the actual cinematic greatness of it, he's behind the lens.
very good. Kevin, I want to check in on your bracket. This will, of course, air after this weekend's games, but
Right.
we're taping this after the first weekend.
The
of March
Akron
Madness.
Zips did not perform to.
Not to our standard.
Is this mine? Or is this?
No,
is this,
Steve, I think this is ours, probably, right?
Kliq This one. I think the only difference is Illinois in the end. You have Arizona. But it's very similar to yours, the Kliq This one.
I mean, I look at it. It's just like I didn't have Tennessee. I had Virginia getting by Tennessee, but nobody's getting by Michigan in that Midwest. So I thought
That's a lot of.
I thought Iowa. I mean, I picked Iowa State two or 3 weeks ago as like my sleeper, and they were. I tell you what, and any like hoop fans out there, am I the only one that watched game after game after game and watched guys drive past the defender and throw the ball into the bottom of the rim on a layup attempt over and over, and it was like I felt like I was watching not even good high school basketball in a lot of times.
Let me bring up one of the feedback people, Kevin. Mike Deloy says, Kevin, great call on Iowa State. I don't want to sound like an old man, but I just saw some of the shittiest basketball this weekend. Or not all of it, but I watched a game, Kansas and St. John's, where at halftime, the leading team shot 28% and Kansas shot 38%, but supplemented it with 15 turnovers. By the end of the game, it was unwatchable.
Yeah. So I watched Connecticut play the first night, and I don't know I think his name's Reed. They've got like a big, giant, like 280-pound center. And he had like 35 points and 27 rebounds. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, like Connecticut's got this. The next game, guy didn't even show up. Wasn't even a factor. I'm just thinking like, like the teams that I watched that looked like they were running their offense at practice were Michigan, Iowa, I was not impressed with Arizona, and I got them winning the national championship. I would if I could draft king it and change it, like you can now, I would definitely put Michigan as my national champion. Illinois is big, and they can score. Everybody can score. Illinois, you guys.
They're still in it. What were they, a 6 seed?
No, 3.
Oh, 3.
They easily could have been a 2. So.
All right, so that's the only change you would have made. You would have.
I'd pick Michigan.
Fine on Akron.
I mean, when it comes down to when you really do the bracket, you're not going to win any pool if you don't have the Final Four. So I mean, when John was on the other night, it was just like when we were talking about, we both decided, we were going to go with Purdue all the way when they had Edie, and they lost against the 16th seed in the first game. So your bracket, basically, who you've got winning is shot from day one. So it's just like,
But when it's an upset that significant, though, so many other people just got screwed with you. Like, who picked your 60? Who picked the fucking 16th seed to go over the number one?
But the thing is, that 16 seed becomes high point, and it just gets drilled the next game. It's very, very it's rare that somebody makes a push, through. And that was the one thing I thought. There's still going to be upsets because a lot of teams got knocked out of the conference tournament, 12, 14 days ago. So, it's late in the season. A lot of teams, like Michigan's missing their starting point guard. There's a lot of teams have some major injuries. And, but man, there's just some teams that it look like they're second day of practice.
Well, we'll see. A whole week has passed. We'll see who shows up tomorrow night. Right?
I guarantee you Michigan shows up. I guarantee you Izzo's not going to get out coached at Michigan State.
We still have 7 of the Elite 8 in here still.
Yeah.
All right, some more feedback. Thank you, Mike, for your observation of basketball of the March
Mike,
Madness
I couldn't agree
weekend.
more. It got to the point where I could not I couldn't continue to do it to my wife. I just looked at Tamara. I said, "What do you want to watch? Like, these games are rotten. I'll bail."
And she said gold.
Yeah, I go, let's watch gold again.
Right.
I might have missed something.
Her friend was over, and she didn't get to hear the ending.
She
thought she missed something.
That's our ongoing thing, because she sat there like a trooper and watched gold with me. And I'll always say, "What do you want to watch?" She goes, "I'm thinking gold." So.
The one BG says,
I'm just going to say it's so great after 39 years together, 40 years, whatever. Like, we both get it. Like, we just, I mean?
You better, because you're waking up with that person for 40 years.
It's you're on the same wavelength. And neither one of us per se work. Yet I'm on the road every weekend, and she's gone from 11 o'clock to 5 every day doing shit. Mm-hmm. Between Pilates and this and that. It's just like, life's too short.
Listen, you fall into that groove, you have your schedules, you have your stuff. 39 years, that's impressive. We're 24 this year. 24 married. 26 together this year. So
which
is an accomplishment.
I think we only dated for like 11 months.
The one BG says, I bet the original Bloodline reunites at WrestleMania. Punk healing it up on Roman during the build is a misdirection. The Usos will help Roman cheat to win the title back. Feels like Raw needs an anchor act again.
But don't you think that Roman was kind of heelish at the end of the show?
Yeah. Yeah, but there's no clear cut, and we talked about this. I said to you, don't you need a heel to know who the heel is?
I thought
and you
that
said
somebody's got to make a comeback. Somebody's got to give the comeback.
yes. It's got to happen, even if it happens in the ring. Somebody's got to decide.
Psychologically wise, I mean that's the story. Unless you're going to do, I was watching a clip, and it was from the Attitude Era. And it was Stone Cold versus Mankind.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's Mick and Steve are in there, and Vince is the special guest referee.
Mm-hmm.
So Mick gets Steve in trouble. He goes to get a chair. He goes to hit Steve with a chair. Steve moves. Mick hits Vince. Vince goes down. Steve kicks Mick in the stomach, gives him the stunner. There's nobody to count. So down comes the referee. Referee slides in and does it great because he comes in from the ramp, but as he kind of turns his body and slides to make the count, so his legs now are towards the announce table. Patterson pulls him out by his legs and pops the referee that comes down. Now Patterson's going to go in and make the count. Now Mick's turned it around, and Mick's got Steve in the mandible claw with the Sacco. And at this point, Undertaker comes down and puts Pat through the announce table with a choke slam. So it turns around again, and then Briscoe goes to make the count on Austin, and Taker puts Briscoe through the Spanish announce table. And then finally, they go back through it. Steve gives Mick another stunner, and it's close enough. He pulls Vince over and counts grabs his leg with one arm. With his other hand, Steve counts 1, 2, 3 with Vince's hand to make the count, and he goes over. And nobody took anybody's, nobody bastardized anybody's finish.
Right.
You know what I mean? Nobody, Steve didn't give the mandible claw to Mick 4 times, and Mick didn't, stun Steve 15 times. They didn't do any of that shit they do now. And it was just this layered, they never lost the people. The finish was probably 3 minutes long. And I just looked at it and I said, do we, is this not something that people watch anymore? Do people not remember how easy things were?
Well, why, if I got you in the room and Steve in the room and Mick in the room, and I said, why doesn't this logic happen today without fucking anybody? Everybody's still pretty strong at the end. It's entertaining. Fans are with it the whole time. 3-minute finish, but the place is hot, and it all makes sense. Everybody's still, keeping their character. What would I be told?
I don't know, because I sat around in those days in the meetings and had a voice, and I remember even at TNA when we do 6-man, something like that, and Bubba and Devon and Cornet and myself were all in and it was like they would want to do so much shit. that was like one of those times where Cornette and I never saw kind of eye to eye, because I was kind of, I mean, I don't think Cornette ever forgave me for the curtain call like that. I think
he's still holding on to that.
Yeah, no, and that's up to Jim. I don't, for his the purity of what the kayfabe was, it was still, but it was on life support by the curtain call. I mean,
yeah,
to say the least.
Mildly. Yeah, exactly.
And but when it came down to finishes, we're in a room and everybody's arguing, and Jim and I are finishing each other's sentences, and I'm thinking like, wow, who would have thought that when we got to this point of our careers that Cornette and I are on the same page as far as...
What kind of stuff were you on the same page with? Do you remember?
Just because you have to realize, Bubba and Devon went through all those tables, ladders, and chairs matches that were, I mean, those were incredible matches, but there were so many false finishes, and so, and it was, those were great matches. They were great for the fans, and they had great false finishes. It wasn't something that you could do on a weekly basis. You couldn't do those kind of layered finishes on a weekly basis because it almost feels like a dusty finish. You need something a little bit more shorter, more clean cut. And I think that's where Jim and I were we're kind of together on that. Where it's just like, we're.
Didn't he point out in the room, like, I can't believe the only person I agree with in this room is Kevin.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of times, and I think that Jim and I kind of, I never had heat with, he never had heat with me after that. Like I liked him. Like I was just like, okay, like, because I never had been around him enough. And that's such a huge thing. I was listening to, I was going through it, and Shane was, they were talking to Shane Douglas. Somebody was talking to Shane, and they were talking, and the question was, did Scott and Shane ever, like, make amends over how bad the Kliq treated them?
Mm-hmm.
And I was so happy because I didn't know, I didn't know whether they had or not. And they had, like Scott said, sorry, I'm sorry for being a dick. And I know that Shane says, like, Kevin told me, like, 100,000 times, like, we're cool, right? And he said, I never had, like, Kevin wasn't one of the guys that fucked with me. And I remember we were doing some some independent shows up in Michigan together. It was me, Shane, and Rhino were on the card. And we were in the locker room. And that was like one of those times where I looked at him, I said, we're cool, right? Like with this, like, because there wasn't nobody, it was just me, Terry, and Shane. It wasn't a bunch of the boys. So if there was any problem, it would have been cool if he would have. And he said, no, man, he goes, for the 100th time, we're fine. I said, well, that was a rough, to come in that territory.
Yeah, at that time too.
Yeah, man, that was.
But you were cool, clearly.
No, I mean, I always had the ability to differentiate between your wrestling ability and you as a human being. They didn't have to fucking, like, I could like you as a human and think you were the drizzling shits to work with. There's a lot of people that can't make that. If you're the shits, then you're just taking up space.
Right.
I guess because I was the shits for so long.
Right.
But everybody always said, Nash is a funny fucker. We'll keep him around.
You know who I want to keep around, Kev? Morgan and Morgan. And the lengths they've gone to engender themselves with our wrestling fans is epic. Because that's right, you listening today, via our new friends at Morgan and Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, who've been fighting for the people for over 35 years, want to send you to WrestleMania 42. 2 tickets. They want to hook up one lucky fan here with 2 tickets to WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. That's April 18th and 19th. All right. And in addition to that, this lucky winner is going to get $2,000 to help cover expenses for the weekend. All you have to do to enter is send a text to HEAT42, HEAT 42. You're going to text, rather, HEAT42 to 4, that's the number, the people. All right, you're going to text the message HEAT42 to 4, the number, the people. If you want that as numbers, it's 484-373-6753. Follow the prompt. Do not miss out on this opportunity to watch WrestleMania 42 live. No purchase necessary. Open to legal residents of the 48 contiguous United States and D.C. who are 18 plus. The sweepstakes ends March 29th. This is a paid advertisement for our friends at Morgan and Morgan. Get in there, guys. Do it. Text HEAT42 to 4. That's the number 4, the people. And thank you, Morgan and Morgan. Thank you, Morgan and Morgan, for taking care of us for over 35 years and being in our corner, and also helping send one of our lucky listeners to WrestleMania 42.
I read a comment. I read one of the comments and somebody said,
yes,
Florida's not recreational. I didn't say that Morgan. I said he spent like $10 million to let us be able to smoke weed, cannabis in Florida.
Oh, Mr. Morgan's campaign. Yes.
I said I never said it was recreational. You just have to go get your medical card.
Right.
But from the, you have to also realize that, it was, I think it was 8 years. I've never understood why, if it's something like cannabis or women's reproduction rights, it's not like anything else. It has to be, it's a 60-40 vote. It's not a 50.1% beats 49.9.
It's a super majority.
Yeah, I don't understand that. It's bullshit.
Kev Big Bear 7347 says, rodeo building, is that called the Hippodrome?
In Albuquerque? Is that where we wrestled?
I remember the city you were talking about, the dirt floored.
I would have to look at a map of New Mexico.
All right, check that up. Let's see. Ryan does pools. Says, Kev, you mentioned your CNS was smoked after leg day. I followed Eric Bugenhagen, Rick Boogs, for a few years, and one of his big things, especially when he was younger, is getting under what your body deems as heavy weight to fire up the CNS. I was wondering what effects you notice when your CNS is whooped from a workout.
So I trained legs today, and so I've been having issues with my lower back, but I know it's not my lower back. I know it's not my cervical spine, but the pain resonates in my lower back. So I went to this girl named Kelly. She's a graduate from Embry-Riddle. I'm not Embry-Riddle, Emory Medical up in Atlanta. We joked about people. She says she goes to Emory. Down here, Embry-Riddle's the aeronautical college. But she worked on me yesterday for 2 hours, and I mean, she's big and she's strong, and she's very skilled, and she like went through some things, did some testing, and she says it's your psoas muscle, and your psoas can either be underdeveloped or it can be tight. And in my situation, it was tight, and to get the fucking psoas to release, I mean, whew. I mean, she does, and you've got to go both ways. You've got to kind of find it where it hooks in through the glute, and then you've got to go into the pelvic region and get both of them to let go. So I went through that, and then she dug into my shoulders and up in my armpits, and she got my one shoulder that's been killing me. It was like almost it felt like my humerus head like kind of fell into place. So when I woke up this morning, like I sleep in a cervical pillow. When I woke up this morning, I just rotated my head from right to left, and I got like audibles of like my cervical, like everything she did. So when I got up, I was just like, so my first couple of steps usually to the bathroom, my lower back's got a little tinge to it. I had nothing this morning. So just like, I'm like, fuck. Now I got to go train the legs today, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm just going to destroy everything she did.
Kev, lift your mic slightly up towards your mouth.
Well, somebody was telling.
There you go.
Somebody was telling me that I'm worried about Nash's breathing. Well, you know what? Everything's blooming down here. I've got allergies. This place doesn't get open. It's like a dust farm. So don't worry about me. I've got horrible allergies. I can't breathe out of my nose, so you'll just have to deal with my Darth
He's fine.
Vader.
It's just allergies, for God's sake.
Yeah, jeez.
So your legs now.
Yeah, so I did legs today. So I did I just changed everything around, and I did like abduction and a couple things before to warm up, and then I slowly did those heavier than I would, because it's my first movement and not my last. I was much stronger, so I did a bunch of hip and groin work first, some glute work, then I did hamstrings, then I did my heavy leg presses, and I mean I was pretty crippled walking out of there, and when I got home I walked upstairs to change, just to change to come down here. And I was just like, man, I'm going to pay the price tomorrow when I get on that plane. But
that's right, you're flying again.
To me, it's like, I don't know how old this guy is that sent the message or the question in, but like I'm going to turn 67, and I'm training today with guys that are in their late 40s, and they're beat to shit. And they're not handling the weight that I'm doing. And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, they both made a reference to that. Like, they said, if I'm 60, 67 years old and in the gym, I'll be amazed. He says, the fact that you're, still going at the weight that you handle and everything that you do. And the thing is with weight is, when you're young, man, you can put 10 plates on a side and you can use momentum. You can just rattle that, you can do them fast, but when you're doing the movement slow and you're contracting muscles, and, the older you get, the more you realize that you have to train smarter. And I don't think that I taxed my central nervous system. But when I do, I know, because the next day I just can't train. Like tomorrow, I have to get back in before I fly. and that's another big muscle group after legs. So I've got to get back in tomorrow because it's a short week. It gives me Monday through Thursday to train, and I'll still have to do triceps on the road. So.
Well, that brings up this question. Eacher Creature says, hey, yo, Kev, I'm going to be in Daytona over Easter weekend. Any gyms that you would recommend? I'm not a member of any of the local ones. It would be awesome to train with you. Thanks in advance. And Sean, I don't know about that mustache.
I appreciate the offer. I train alone, much like George Thorogood drinks alone.
Mm-hmm. With nobody else. I always hated that he had to, that was the next verse, the lyric. I drink alone with nobody else. Like, I got that. You could have spent those words.
Well, that's kind of like former presidents.
Right. As opposed to the current.
Having a conversation with the former president.
Yeah.
Same thing, you know.
But what about just some gyms that he can hit in the Daytona area?
I mean, to me, Total Nutrition on International is like, that's my home base. I probably train more there than anywhere else. I'm trying to think of ones that don't charge you like $40 to come in for the day.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of those chain ones. I train at Greater Fitness on Ridgewood. I train at Axios up on International. I train at Perfect Storm. Like, I have different body parts. I train at different gyms. So.
All right. So each creature, you try one of those. Don't know what body part you're looking to do while you're up there.
Yeah. Tomorrow back, because there's more selectorized machines at Total Nutrition, and I'm going to try to get in and out in 45 minutes. I don't want to fucking be lugging 45s and loading hammer strength and all that. And they've got a couple selectorized. Like, they've got like a Yates row that's selectorized. They've got a high pull down hammer that's selectorized. So they've got a bunch of selectorized. The only thing I'll do is I'll do some dumbbell rows. Mm-hmm. That'll be the only like free weights I'll do tomorrow.
All right. Buckeye Brandon, coming close to the 30-year anniversary of the NWO formation at Bash at the Beach. Bash at the Beach. Just gave this another watch on WWE Vault on YouTube. What a time to be a wrestling fan. Thanks for the great memories, Big Kev. Is it 30 years?
30 years, man. Unbelievable.
Depress me like that.
And but to me, it's one of those things where it's just like, I can't say rarely. I don't think I never watch Raw and not see an NWO shirt. 30 years later.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, no matter what, you know, Kendall Jenner rocked it at Fashion Week. I mean, it's still, and there's probably nothing logo-wise that's been more ripped off by indie wrestlers. Mm-hmm. I mean, not even indie guys, like RKO, that shirt's basically an NWO rip-off.
And it's the simplest design. It has nothing to do with the visual. It's what it meant. It stood for something.
Yep.
It had significance. It really meant
something.
The
thing was, too, is so many people, especially in the wrestling world, especially at that time, had no idea about Illuminati, Rothschild, New World Order. They didn't even know that, like,
that it was a thing. Yeah.
No, people didn't know, and when they told me it was going to be the New World Order, I was thinking like, whoa, like that's, you know, that's some heavy shit. And then I'm realizing like, oh, it doesn't have any correlation to that. Like, we're not even pushing that storyline. You know.
No. whole like Bilderberg type
Yeah.
set.
I thought I was going to have to join the Freemasons, but
KliqThisTV.com is how everybody in our live audience got here today to watch the taping, the pre-show, the questions for Kev at the end of the show. And you can go to KliqThisTV.com too and become part of the 11 Soft Club and get the shows early, get them without commercials. And of course, there's KliqThisShop.com. Get the goddamn merch. David Van Bogelen. Hey, you guys. It's your boy, DVB's birthday, 48 years in Canada. Happy birthday.
nice.
David.
Happy birthday, Dave.
I did share a graphic you made of you at the table with me and Kev, which I was amused by. I sent that out, and there's a perfect example of somebody who's been
We were
with us from
cursed.
day one. Yes, we were cursed.
We
in
were
that.
being cursed.
David was a day one guy with Jen and Britt and many of the people in the room here. Kev, I watched Raw. And
As we always do.
As we always do. And that's me trying to start a catchphrase. And I had questions for you. I had questions.
Okay.
First question. Go ahead. You were going to ask me something?
No.
Oh, okay. I heard you draw in. I thought you were going to unleash something.
No, I'm trying to calm my central nervous system while having an asthma attack.
Allergy attack.
Asthma or
all right.
some kind of breathing disorder.
Femi and Brock.
Right.
Okay, so they're working this. This is a marquee moment for WrestleMania.
Well, if we're gonna talk about, I mean, Brock Brock is so talented and so good. Nobody else at 275, 285 is going to take a clothesline over the top rope that crisp, take one rotation body-wise on the mat, and land with his back against I always call it the hockey board, because it looks like you're in a hockey ring down there. I mean, he turns and he gives that perfect facial as he's holding one move he made him. And he's definitely Femi 3 weeks ago, when they played his music, no idea who was coming out. I didn't.
Right,
Now that two notes in the lighting, I know exactly who's coming out. That's huge.
And because of that, and because, Brock's not a 12-month guy, Femi has to go over, right?
I think that the argument's always going to be, if Femi doesn't go over, what do you do with him Monday?
Right. Because like you just said, the investment in him has given him a direction.
And I think, if we're going to be realistic about this, and they came to Brock and they said, Brock, we want you to, be a part of WrestleMania. We want you to be a featured match. We want to get Femi up and running. And would you have a problem putting him over? I know that Brock would say absolutely not. Because, Brock put Eddie over in the middle of the ring. Brock has never had a problem putting anybody, elevating anybody. And I know that Brock, Taker gave the streak to Brock. So, Taker gave the torch to him. I don't think that Brock will have any problem whatsoever. I just think that Brock's smart enough to go, how much? And they said, would you do it for 2? And he says, no, but I'll do it for 3. And they said, okay. At this point, he wants to spend more time with his family. He's up in, I think he's in Saskatchewan. I think he lives up in Canada.
Yeah.
And he said, so it's just he wants to be with his family. His daughter's if not out of college, getting close. Or maybe she just in. I know I saw some pictures of her shot putting. I think she was in college already. I think she was at North Dakota State.
So this will be a make Femi moment.
I think so.
WrestleMania.
I think it does. And then you always have, as a to when things when Femi looks unbeatable, you can always bring Brock back to be that guy, to put a loss on him.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Right.
So
Heyman was rolling around the ring a little bit there with Seth. So what's the resultant match of this going to be now? Because the fracturing of the vision because of the injuries has put you've got the tag team side of it, but now you've got Rollins back and you got Heyman. What's the match going to be there? Are we going to get Breaker back? What's going to happen?
I don't know.
They're committed to it.
3 weeks. I mean, 3 weeks. Breaker could be back.
He can be.
I'm not going to call him and ask him, hey, give me an inside scoop for my fucking...
Well, damn it.
Somebody works for a living. Good yawn.
I've tried to hide it. I'm usually pretty good at scratching my mouth. But yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. So for 3 weeks, they've got to get something happening here, and there's no clear indication what Seth's going to be doing.
But at the same time, are we 100% sure that Seth's fucking healthy?
So I'm seeing a report here from WrestleVotes Radio on Fightful Select. I don't know how reliable that's going to be, but a WWE source is optimistic about Breaker potentially being cleared in time for WrestleMania. WWE is said to have a plan for Breaker on the WrestleMania card if he's able to get cleared. So that's nothing definitive, but yeah, obviously if he's cleared, they'll do something with him at WrestleMania. Why the hell wouldn't they? I'm just curious. They must know something because they're involving Seth.
I think that Logan Paul's the guy. That he has because Logan Paul can go out there and do a high. Like they could have a WrestleMania match.
But they're kind of committed to the Uso, the tag team angle with Theory and Logan and the and the Usos now. So that's clearly the direction that's going.
I think that they would. I think Seth's of higher priority to make sure he's on the Mania card than the tag match.
Right.
Tag match, you could put somebody in there.
So speaking of the Usos, with them now involved in the Roman Reigns and Punk angle, where's that going to go? Are we seeing like a turn by Jay, maybe?
I don't know.
Would it be good business to turn Jay?
I don't think. I think the bloodline's played out. I think it's like NWO, 33, the 33rd revision of the NWO. I think it's played out. And I just, you can't tie up the Usos too much with Roman, because Roman's came out a week or two ago and said basically, yes, I'm part-time. I'm going to raise my kids. I'm going to spend time with my wife. I mean, thank God the business has become lucrative enough and has been able to put these guys in a position where they don't have to, they don't have to wake up at 67 years old and feel like we do.
So for the next, are we going to get the Roman and Punk promo main events every week to the match?
I would be very surprised if they try to. Well, the go home will be a package. The go home week will be a package.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
They can't. I mean, they can't wrestle before then. So
The only thing, like to me,
conflict has to be on the mic.
the odd man out in this is LA Knight. LA Knight's been involved in this whole storyline, and he doesn't have a match.
Mm.
So how do you tie? Like, do you make it a 6-man so LA Knight's in it? Like, I don't know, but it seems to me like he's put in too much work not to have a. You got to give LA Knight a WrestleMania match of some sort.
Mm.
So if Breaker's back, do you go Logan Paul again with LA Knight? Which, I mean, they had that SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You could put a stip in it and make it a little different.
Yeah, I think that he's, I think that LA Knight definitely deserves to be on the, of course he does. He deserves to be on the WrestleMania card. Get that downside payday, boy.
Speaking of WrestleMania, I think we talked about the watch parties.
They had been suspended.
Yeah, but
And
now it looks like
yeah.
the city will allow some watch parties.
Yeah, I think the city said, wait a fucking minute.
Yeah.
You're telling people not to come to Vegas? That's kind of why we're bringing the WrestleMania here.
Yeah, we paid what to fill the bars here if the folks can't go to the event.
Well, they just want people on those casino floors. They want people gambling. I mean, that's,
Absolutely.
Yeah, even if it's just the slot machines, they'll take the 32% that they're making profit off of every day on the slot machines.
Friday evening, Stadium Swim at Circa advertised their WrestleMania watch party, and looks like also Fightful Select had some details today. Circa Mania will begin on April 15th, run to April 20th. Live shows with Chris Van Vliet, Denise Salcedo, an art gallery with Naomi Rosenbaum. Okay, so a lot of stuff still happening, and the watch parties are okay. Officially, the ban was lifted by WWE. So if it was something you were planning on doing, you're good for now.
I think the only thing I'm going to do the WrestleCon, and then I'll definitely go to the Hall of Fame.
Very good.
I owe that. I mean, I would have went just because Steph was going in, but then they put Barry and Bill in, and I was just like, finally. And then they added Rodman, and I'm like, okay, that was, that's epic. And then they added Sid. So just like, man, there's like four people that I want to see have their WrestleMania Hall of Fame moment, or four groups of people. So I saw
a news item. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that I was talking to Tamara today, and she had seen online where Rodman was going in. And like I've said, I've got 2 pictures in my house that have anything to do with wrestling. And one of them is, of course, I've said it before, it's the wedding photos of Triple H, Shawn, and I. And then the other one is from Hog Wild, me and Rodman. And I'm actually in a singlet. That's like the only one that's... So of all the stuff I've done, it's just crazy that I've got a picture of Rodman. And she said, do you remember when we lived in Atlanta and he was on the Pistons and because we used to have great seats. And there was always kind of down, like maybe 3 rows back, but like in the corner of the baseline. And like he was in the almost in our area of the crowd 3 different times going after loose balls this one game. And just what a great career he had, throughout his NBA. And then I always, I was making a joke to somebody when they announced that they were going to put Rodman in the Hall of Fame. I'm saying, like, yeah, that's when ESPN covered wrestling before there was a $30 commitment involved in it.
ESPN covered Rodman in wrestling.
They covered Rodman because he didn't show up for a playoff practice to do Nitro. So pretty
epic.
epic.
Name the Worm. Do you know that? Was it a specific commentator? Was it his team?
I don't know.
If you run into him again, let's ask. Let's get an answer to that.
I don't care.
Let's get. Well, why? You're a basketball fan. You wouldn't want to know that little piece of information?
Doesn't matter. I don't call him the Worm.
Okay. Well, I'll find out.
Yeah,
I'll satiate my need.
Yeah, I have none.
For trivia. These are the
just
things
like
I think.
Just like I don't give a shit who called Wilt Chamberlain the Big Dipper.
I think it was one of the rats. This is the shit I ponder when I'm on the bowl, Kev, and I have extra time to think about these things because I don't have to worry about the cleaning process when I'm done. Tushy, our friends at Tushy, we've been talking about Tushy for over a year here. It's listen, when you're in the loo, shall we say, if your trips are becoming like double overtime with the amount of time you're spending cleaning yourself up, it's time to listen to us. We've been telling you about Tushy. We've been telling you about bidets and the Tushy experience. And Tushy's bidets specifically, because you've got a market out there. Everybody can throw out a bidet. But are you going to get the warm water e-bidet that Tushy's offering? No, is the answer to that. Every Tushy bidet easily attaches to the existing toilet seat without the need for additional plumbing. E-bidets only require an outlet, but you can set up your Tushy in about 10 minutes maybe. It's so basic. Anyone can do this. 2-in-1 benefits, reducing irritation, preventing micro-tearing with soothing water instead of scratchy toilet paper or damaging wet wipes, which you can't flush regardless of what they tell you about that. Okay? Installation is simple. There's no reason not to try this, guys. Use it, sit, cleanse, and dry using the built-in air dryer. They are not messing around at Tushy. They've got your bottom taken care of. Every Tushy bidet comes with a 30-day hassle-free return, 12-month warranty. Make going to the bathroom the most comfortable thing you do all day. All right. For a limited time, our listeners are going to get 10% off their first bidet order when they use the code KLIQ at checkout. That's 10% off your first bidet order at hellotushy.com. Hello, TUSHY.com. Promo code Kliq, KLIQ. Thank you, Tushy. Love some Tushy. Kev, how about a little Dear Sexy? 2 letters. Originally sent to Dear Abby, but what if Kevin Nash was the one to help the lovelorn, those needing advice, various familial situations? The first letter, Kev, says, Dear Sexy, 7 months ago, my son filed for divorce from his wife of 22 years. 3 months ago, he introduced us to Carlene. Sexy, the woman has 5 children with 3 different men and is currently married to her second husband. She filed for divorce 2 months ago. She has custody of only 2 of her children. Since Carlene entered the picture, my son has been drinking again and doing drugs. He's been fired from his job after 17 years. I have no desire to invite Carlene into my home or heart. Please advise about how I can let my son know that I believe she's his downfall and I don't want any kind of relationship with her or her nasty, disrespectful brats. That's from Decisive in the East.
Wow. Gee, that seems like a tough one. Your ammo is that he's drinking and doing drugs. He's lost his job of 17 years, and you're trying to come up with a way to sit down and talk to him and say that maybe this fucking woman's not right for him.
And she's still married.
Yeah, and she's got 5 kids, and she's such a fit mom. She only has custody of 2.
Allowed to have 2 of them, yes.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I think
The
everything
fact
in
that
this letter is exactly what should be sent to the son.
Yeah, I just look at it and I said, number one, if you're asking Dear Abby for this advice, I mean, you're so stupid. It doesn't really. I mean, what does it matter? You just answered your own question. Every time I get in the car with my husband, he's drunk and smashes into a car. How do I tell him I don't want to drive with him anymore? Jeez.
Dear Sexy, my husband and I have been married for decades. My husband, who has always been very overweight, has made many promises to remedy it with no follow-through. He continues to overeat and avoid physical activity while constantly complaining about aches, pains, and fatigue. Frequently, when we go out, he wolfs down his food, and I'm left to fend off waiters who want to clear our plates. When we were at dinner with friends, my husband was the first to the buffet, ate twice as much food as everyone, and finished long before anyone else was done. A few friends commented on it. He has high blood pressure and cholesterol and can no longer be managed with medication. Our sex life is terrible due to his weight and inability to perform. His cardiologist strongly recommends changes that there's little chance he will implement. In fact, my husband's first meal after that appointment was a steak hoagie and fries. He's been in therapy for many years for a myriad of issues, and we also have started couples therapy. I love my husband, but I'm very sad he's willing to trade what should be quality years as we age for self-induced disability. Please tell me how to cope with this. Your advice is welcome. That's from Disappointed in Florida. Kev, I feel like this is another letter that just needs to be sent to the motherfucker they're talking about.
Jeez. I mean, decades?
Yes. So, she just hasn't quite found the words yet.
When you're at the point when you can't be, like, your situation can't be medically treated, I think that you should start maybe secretly going on dating sites, because this your boy ain't got much longer.
His time is
I would definitely pony up on some more life insurance. Make sure your everything's in order, because geez.
Maybe we could introduce her to the son from the first letter. Maybe those two would be able to.
No, because he's already lost his job. He's got a drug and alcohol problem that she doesn't.
We don't want to saddle her with that. And her husband.
Maybe we could hook the son up with the obese guy.
Sir,
can I bring you a mint? It's wafer thin. Fuck off.
Monty Python?
Yep. That's what's going to happen. It'll just explode. When you go to the point of a letter to include that he wolfs his food so fast, she has to fend off the waiters from taking her plate. Like, you can't just prison elbow that shit. Just, fuck, I don't know. Boy, those are two a
trouble people out
couple of problem solvers. They actually are. They're problem solvers. They won't take their own advice.
Well, they know it's the case of they know the answer. They don't know how to implement it.
Well,
Because he's the large man has made many pleas over many overtures over the years, I should say, to quit. But it just hasn't happened. Eventually, he's going to run out of things to eat. Maybe just everything will disappear in the world, and
maybe move
to
move to the Sudan or something. Move someplace.
Wasn't Abdullah billed from the Sudan? He was the size of a fucking Volkswagen.
Yeah, but he owned his own rib place, so.
Damn right.
JCW Lunacy. New episodes every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. For over 25 years, JCW has delivered the very best in pro wrestling entertainment, bringing fans deep storytelling drama, gut-busting comedy, and unbelievable in-ring action. From wild characters to unforgettable rivalries, don't miss a single moment. Tune in every Thursday night at 7 p.m. on YouTube. JCW Lunacy.
All right, back with Kliq This, the Kevin Nash podcast. This is Sean, and I'm telling you guys again that STOPBOX USA is solving the big conundrum for handgun owners. Okay, let's be real, guys. If you own a handgun for self-defense, you've got a serious responsibility here. Okay, you need to keep it secure, but you need it accessible when it matters most. All right, and too often that means choosing between either locking it away, where, God forbid, you need it in a pinch, you don't get to it, or leaving it out, which is a problem. So STOPBOX USA has set out to solve this, and they've nailed it with this jammy right here. This is the STOPBOX Pro, 100% mechanical. It's keyless. You don't want to fumble for a key. What if it's dark? Battery free. What if your battery's dying, you're trying to type in a code and you need it? That doesn't work either. But this is entirely mechanical, and it is the 5 buttons you see here. They fit perfectly in your grip, and the pre-programmed by you code that you put in your STOPBOX, the combination of finger depression is what opens it. That took me a second to do that. Okay, and it's all by feel. I'm not even looking at it. My hand is on it. I'm pressing the keys, and it's going to pop open because of that. We don't need the keys. We don't need the buttons. We don't need batteries. That's not the way to do this today. We're smarter than this. And they're smarter at STOPBOX USA because this is made in the USA. Thus, the STOPBOX USA, if you didn't get that from that. All products proudly made in the USA in their facility. So high-quality craftsmanship, but also meaningful jobs for workers. No tariffs, none of that nonsense. Okay, traveling with peace of mind is easy now, too, because STOPBOX Pro is TSA compliant. You can securely and conveniently transport your firearm through checked baggage. For a limited time, our listeners are going to get 10% off at STOPBOX when you use the code NASH10. Okay? Code NASH10 at checkout. Head to STOPBOXUSA.com. Use the code NASH10 for 10% off your entire order. After you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. And you're going to say, right here, click this. Thank you, STOPBOX.
Okay, so you just brought something to mind for me.
Go ahead.
You said it was TSA approved.
Yes.
So I was watching the news. I did watch the news for a few minutes before I came down here. And it seemed to me like the Democrats and the Republicans have pretty much decided that they would fund TSA.
Yes. Kind of a breakout of the bill that was on the table.
Finally. And they would come back to, because ICE is basically, I mean, they've got so much funding in the back. I mean, it's backloaded anyway. Like, they don't need anything like, they can continue to function in what they're doing right now. And they went to Trump today, and he was like, yeah, I don't think I like anything in that bill. I'm just like, number one, how can somebody that's our president, who absolutely is on social media and watches television, can see these lines at these airports and these constituents, these people that, are going to vote one way or another at midterm, and they're spending I just got a thing from TSA saying if I was going to fly out of Atlanta, if Atlanta was my starting point, I needed to be there 4 hours ahead of time. And I'm just like, and this human can't just, let alone the people I think this will now be, we're going into week 4, it'll be a month without pay. And how do you do that? How do you take, they've lost 450 agents already that have quit, unless what the plan is because anytime you watch, and they'll go to someplace like San Francisco, where it's a privatized company, not TSA, and they show these flawless, operations being run at some of these airports. And I know, because I watched San Francisco the other day. So is the actual play to get rid of TSA, privatize it, so we don't have to pay TSA, which are government employees, a 20-year pension?
Only if Trump and his family have a stake in it, because that's the only reason anything is getting done. Is
Well,
what is he doesn't give a shit about the workers.
If you look at the correctional facilities, you look at the ICE facilities, you look at all these things that have been privatized, where do those kickbacks go to? They're all, it's all pork. It's all going, and some lobbyist is writing a check to somebody. And to me, it's just like, if this is a ploy to privatize airport security, you'd be better off, instead of deploying the 2,500 troops that you want to the Middle East, deploy them in the airports and make the TSA an MOS, which I've been saying since we've had this show, because you could take a wounded warrior that's missing a leg and make him do the TSA job. And he's already put his life on the line for us once. You talk about somebody that's not going to make sure that an explosive doesn't get through a bag, But I think the TSA people the people that I have went through in the last couple of weeks, there was a guy, and they just were so overwhelmed that they just could not get to the large cylinder that they need for the people that have metal in their body. And I saw this guy, he was a little overweight and wasn't no spring chicken, kind of half-ass jog, from where he came, 6 rows over to get to this thing, to unhook it, to get 3 or 4 of us people through this, through the process. And I'm thinking, here's this fucking guy busting his ass for no pay, and our president, instead of saying, you know what, man, here's a guy that's still busting his ass, doing the job, that. To me, I'm looking at it there's a guy that gets it. There's still Americans in this world. There's still people that do shit for the right reasons. And you know what we need to do is we need to stick a fucking sharp stake right in their eye and make sure that they don't do that. So,
Well,
because, you know, I'm always told how much I hate Trump. I don't hate him. I don't hate anyone. I just really have a completely different opinion of how to treat human beings.
well done. Some questions for Kevin. Ask Nash. You could be part of this by going to kliqthistv.com and signing up. Like Irish Flyers 12. Hey, can you tell Unc Kev I'm sending in figs and NWO 3-pack to get signed at WrestleCon with Michael at High Spots. If you can just remember my name, Irish Flyers, Keith in South Jersey. So I guess you're doing something
I'll
with
try.
High Spots?
Well, I mean, they're bringing me in.
All right, so his figures will be there. Then you'll have them signed, brother.
Yep.
They're very reliable, Michael and the crew there. Pip the Cook, what do you think about Sid going in the Hall of Fame?
Thought he was what?
It cuts off. I don't know. Let's see.
Oh. I stated earlier I was very happy Sid was going in. I didn't understand what is the legacy. What is that? He's in under a category of legacy. He's the legacy nomination. I don't know what that is. Steve, do you know what that is?
Does it mean deceased?
It typically means deceased.
Okay.
Let me look. So Jim Barnett, Bruiser Brody. I'll pull up this list.
That's what that is then.
All right.
And Moose, shout out to Sean halfway through reading Monkey Morales. Very good read. I suggest you all get a copy. Yes, I suggest that too. And this fall, Killing the Lieutenant will be out. The next book. But yeah, this is on audiobook as well for those of you that enjoy a listen as opposed to a read. 6 years of my goddamn life right there. And
I just want to know how long it took you to tie that knot on that fucking gimmick you got around your neck.
It's this gimmick is a cashmere gimmick, Kevin. So it's very soft, very flexible, very easy to tie.
It's not what is it? A scarf?
No, it's a sweater. It's a sweater. You know.
Who the fuck does that if your name's not Biff?
Well, listen. Prep is back this season. I don't know if I know you're aware of that.
Where's that at the fucking at the bathhouses or?
Did you get? You didn't get your copy of GQ this month. I see.
I didn't get the day.
Listen, this is the first time I saw the mauve shirt on you, so you're clearly reading the fashion pages yourself, as spring is right around the corner.
This is
what we call that?
This is a classic tee. This is one of our classics.
Oh, this is one of our peeps.
That's one of those that spring.
That's a hanging tee.
Yeah,
that's what that is.
You can see how nice it is, man.
Doctor, you're flexing it. That's good. It plays with your skin tone really nicely, kind of.
Thank you. And it kind of sets off with the background is kind of it's calming.
This just became the most homo show on.
Then that's a good
dial.
Thing. That's a good thing.
It didn't pass judgment.
What was your weather today?
Oh,
did it pop up?
Cooler earlier. Might have hit 50s. Every time I leave the house, I'm at 37 or something like that.
What a gorgeous day.
Yeah, we're not there yet. I think next week they're teasing some of that. Britt says, in honor of the 30th anniversary of the Curtin Call coming up in May, do you think we could possibly get a Curtin Call convo show with X-Pac joining us for that show? Let me dream. I could ask him. Kev, would you be down for that? For the 30th anniversary?
It would be great. And I think it would. I would always love to have Sean on, but Sean wasn't at the Curtin Call.
So we'll get Paul.
Yeah.
See if he's busy, if he can phone in.
Okay.
Thank you, Britt. T. Blair, any good La Parka stories from WCW? The guy was hilarious and awesome to watch. Huge compared to the rest of the luchadors. Could move outside of the ring. Big names on the roster, and was over. La Parka,
Good dude. Smoke a lot of weed.
like any good luchador.
He was a good dude. I actually worked with La Parka before. I've worked a match or two with La Parka.
Prior to the WCW run?
No, WCW.
Oh, okay.
Probably on. I think Scott and I wrestled. Would it have been? Maybe it was a 6-man. Yeah, because Kid would
That
have
would
done
make
all
sense.
Kid would have done all the good shit, and we would have came in and grounded him. But he was. But La Parka, all those guys, man, they were so light. Psychosis, Hoovy, all those guys were so great.
Yeah.
That was a great group. We had such an unbelievable.
It was great, and it was a great spot on the card. The differentiation of the matches, and when they came on, it was always special.
That was brilliant because Eric, that was Eric's design to do that, to have that first hour just be car crashes, and you could push the main event storylines through it by talking about it, and then look at that, like you weren't going to turn the channel.
Right, exactly. There was something to watch.
Right. But you could still, with verbiage, continue. And then at the 9 o'clock hour, you see the NWO would come out, and that would build to the 10 or the main event, depending. But so I don't know. I just thought that Eric had a really good grasp and feel for especially 3 hours, man. Because when it was 2 was one thing. When it went to 3, it was just like it was a whole different animal.
Yeah. By that 9 o'clock NWO music, how many blunts had you crushed?
I wasn't a smoke go to the ring guy. I just like to smoke around 1, because then I would just be chill.
1 p.m.
Yeah, 1 p.m. Like to get high around 1 p.m. Then by 4 or 5 o'clock, then it's like drink like maybe 3 beers.
Okay.
Yeah, have a couple of beers just to chill out.
Send me one more, Steve. Who's going to wrap it up for us this week? Irish Flyers. Hey, Kevin, what do you think about the Caitlin Clark situation with Angel Reese?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't had a chance to. I haven't. Is there something new, or is it just the ongoing one?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything new. I was just
all I want to say is this about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark came into the league, and since she's came in the league, the first thing that changed was every team in the WNBA flew private, no longer commercial. They just got a new collective bargaining agreement for the women. I want to think that the average salary is now $300,000. I want to think that the cap's around $7 million per team, and I want to think that a Caitlin there's like a max where she can make like 1.3. So it takes now the WNBA, like our girls don't have to go and play overseas to make a living. And that's all in 2 years. So, I think that Angel is the magic to Caitlin's bird. I think it's a good marketing. I don't think talent-wise they're even in the same ballpark. But you know, Angel's very attractive. So, and Caitlin's very plain Jane. So that there's a lot of different things that play on that.
Gives the marketing people at WNBA
Yeah.
something to work with. Yeah.
Yeah, I really, man, I watched a shitload of WNBA. I actually have an Indiana Fever T-shirt.
Should wear it next week. Britt wants
might.
to ask you if Dibiase's since Dibiase's a free innocent man now, do you think it's too late or messy to include him somehow on Cody and Orton's match at Mania? I think it would be. It's probably
Why
too
why
late, 'cause
why
you couldn't
why would he
introduce-
why would he be involved in it?
the second generation or third generation?
No, this is a story of. I think Orton goes over just so it's 15, and I think I think that it's a long shot that he gets to 17. But I still think that he's chasing. As soon as he hits 15, now he's chasing that immortal. You know, anytime you're chasing the, back in the day it was the Roger Maris. Chasing the Maris thing, and I think that was, when you look at it, that's basically what changed baseball. Was Sosa and McGuire both going past 61.
The home run, yeah.
Yeah, that was that was the plug that Major League Baseball needed to get eyes watching it. So I think
But that was probably 30 years ago too. Now, wasn't it?
God, close. 'Cause I remember sitting and doing cardio. Me and Disco would be doing cardio at Main Event, and we'd be watching McGuire, like 4 of the 6 TVs would have the Cardinals game on it, in the middle of the afternoon.
Yeah. Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, title sequence by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2026, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, you want to do another one?
Yeah.
Gold.
Let us free to fade away into eternity. Circulate, you've come to love me, but now I'm frozen in dead flesh. Oh, Sophie, knew all along it was a dream, but the customer service never answers a thing. Let us free to breathe in air we're supposed to breathe. Through twists and turns, you've come to love me. Now I'm cold, I'm frozen. Baby, we're broken, and the customer service never answers a thing. Yeah, the customer